Today we're checking out Alien Evolution. This animal channel brings forth a bunch of crazy concepts like carnivorous elephants, other just animals that we don't necessarily recognize as carnivorous. Honestly, elephants eating people sounds freaking crazy, so leave a like on the video, subscribe to Alien Evolution if you guys love crazy animal videos, and let's get into it. Alright.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows elephants are herbivores, although apparently they sometimes eat bird nests with the eggs still inside them. It's a lot easier to bulk up on food just lying around everywhere, which is why the biggest animals in most environments are herbivores.
You know what's crazy? Eating an egg with a baby still in it makes sense. We literally eat chicken periods. Does everyone else realize that's what we're eating as a society?
But what if elephants or their ancestors took a different route, evolving into carnivores?
Oh my god!
How might the unique body plan of an elephant
Dude, look at that thing gripping around that freaking gazelle. Holy crap, this is incredible.
be utilized for eating other animals? What disrespectful forms could these predators take? Enjoy. Before we continue, I'd like to remind you to smash that like button and consider subscribing. It's free, helps out a bunch, and you can always change your mind. Also, leave a comment if you have any thoughts on the video. And since I know some of you will be asking, the Oceans episode of Project Apollo is underway. Leave any suggestions down below, I'd appreciate them. Final thing, I'm also considering branching out into fantasy world building. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Who doesn't love dragons?
The transition from herbivore to carnivore isn't a common occurrence in mammals, and for megafauna like elephants it would be especially difficult. Becoming a carnivore requires changes in body plan to hunt, and changes to the gut to digest the meat, and elephants lack a reason or easy path to adopt carnivory. So, to make this change easier, let's say the ancestor of our carnivorous elephants was the earliest elephant ancestor that had a trunk and the capacity for tusks. For whatever reason, a population of these creatures began opportunistically scavenging carrion, bird eggs, and small mammals, snatching them up with their trunks when possible. Most herbivores have a meat-eating streak, after all, and would gladly take a not-so-traditional for their species meal if it was easy to obtain.
One time I saw a horse eat like 15 chicks, bro. It was great. It wasn't in person. It was on Reddit, but I was like, oh my god.
Perhaps these small proto-elephants developed faster movements to chase prey, built less tanky than our modern proboscideans. They might remain as some sort of bear-like omnivore, a niche seemingly well-suited to their bulk, or develop into active hunters. Spontaneously becoming a carnivore like this would be unlikely, and we'd need to be very lucky for these species to develop in real life, if it's even possible at all. The earliest species in this group might resemble more traditional carnivores, not relying as heavily on their elephant traits. They'd be smaller than modern elephants, and likely have differently shaped skulls, with teeth at the front for delivering bites to dispatch prey. But you probably didn't come here just to see an elephant turn into a wolf. The most notable trait of proboscideans is obviously their trunks, so perhaps these can be evolved into some sort of weapon. Trunks are boneless and flexible, comprised of powerful muscle that could be used to grab prey. They might be proportionally longer than modern elephant trunks to catch prey more easily, or
the concept of a freaking like carnivore that could grab you with its tusk and pull you into its mouth is just obscene, bro.
they could be shorter and thicker for more strength. This might depend on how exactly they're used, with longer trunks being flung forward to grab prey during hunts, perhaps even developing some sort of spring-like muscle if possible. Other species might develop shorter trunks for dispatching prey. Perhaps they can modify their hairs into pseudo-teeth or spikes, or even grow real teeth along the trunk if the right mutations occur.
Dude, that spring thing he mentioned as well. Can you imagine the trunk springing forward? Good god.
These teeth can then cut the prey to make it bleed out, or the trunk could simply wrap around parts of the animal and crush. These trunks would also be useful tools for dismembering prey, tearing apart flesh and bone. If these carnivorous elephants become successful, some species may take on apex predator niches. Already somewhat adapted for size, they might get bigger to take down large prey, or to retain heat in colder environments. Carnivores don't typically get as big as herbivores, so it's unlikely any of these carnivorous elephants would match the size of real-world proboscideans. Anyway, as they get larger, their trunks could become long and muscular enough to constrict small prey that happens into their paths, although they likely can't sustain their dietary needs on just animals smaller than themselves, especially considering the calorie demands of huge trunks and considerable brain power. Speaking of which, some elephants might use their intelligence to hunt in packs, but more on that later.
Oh my god!
They haven't invested too heavily in their trunks, and still developed some self-respecting jaws.
Look at that mouth. It looks like freaking venom. That's a venom mouth if I've ever seen it.
As it's possible a trunk could tear if it was used to grab prey too big for it. Biting might be a better option, and some elephants could develop impressive dentition to dispatch large animals. The most notable dentition of real elephants are their massive molars. Just kidding, it's their tusks, which I imagine adaptation or carnivorous elephant design should feature.
I believed him on the molars for a second. I feel so stupid. The tusks is so obvious.
They could develop smaller tusks that act as large canines, used to make bites even more vicious. Or they could develop large tusks like real elephants, but what application would these have in hunting? Ramming or spearing prey is unwise if you don't want broken tusks, and not likely to kill a large animal anyway. Carnivores don't usually develop extravagant display features, so perhaps elephants, having a manipulatory appendage in the form of their trunks, could spear pieces of meat onto their tusks to carry around for later. Perhaps they could also act as a place to rest their long trunks.
That seems perverted somehow.
Which might otherwise drag on the ground. I'm realizing that sounds a bit wrong. This all sounds a bit silly though, so if you have any idea for how carnivores might use their tusks, please leave them in the comments. Another strategy that might be successful for elephants, and one already explored in speculative evolution, is sapience. Elephants are already very smart, self-aware, able to recognize their dead, and to a degree use tools. They're also social, and if these carnivorous elephants are the same, they might develop their pack structures into cooperative hunting. I'm not sure how well a single appendage could be used for fashioning tools, especially considering elephant trunks are not nearly as dexterous as human hands. Not to mention the location of our arms, which developed as a way to move ourselves through trees, is perfect for lifting things. Even without tools, intelligence and coordination can be extremely useful for predators, as seen in orcas. But tool use would take these elephants to another level if it's possible. Perhaps they'd use their feet to dig traps for large animals to fall into. I imagine their trunks would be able to lay branches on top of a hole to disguise it, and even put a spike in the ground.
I love the idea of all this. I freaking love it. I think it's a super cool concept, but laying Vietnamese style booby traps for the enemy, I don't know. That seems a little, I guess he's describing a pretty simple trap. I don't know. I don't know how smart elephants are, basically.
Then they can coordinate pack members to chase prey into these traps, or even lay some type of lure. Even if an elephant can't put clothing on itself due to the location of its trunk, language would allow them to ask a friend to drape furs over their backs for protection from cold climates.
See, I feel like we were butt naked for like millions, like we were just fine with being naked for a long time. It'd be a cool minute before elephants adapt clothing, I feel like.
If these trunks are structured right, they might be able to throw spears or make stone tools. Elephants have a number of vocalizations, which might be able to develop into language. Not to mention that if this species is large enough, they might be able to use infrasonic calls to better coordinate themselves.
Ooh.
Intelligence could allow this species to dominate the planet, mirroring humanity's own rise to power. This might be the most successful strategy of all. Thanks for watching! I didn't put that much thought into this video, but I was trying to utilize more elephant stuff rather than just mold them to fit other real-world carnivores, which people didn't like about my carnivorous ape video. What animal should be next in this series? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments, and if you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, consider checking out my Patreon if you're in a position to do so, although watching this video is certainly enough. Huge thanks to my patrons on there, and I appreciate all the support. Thank you. Finally, I'd like to apologize to everyone for pronouncing Thylacoleo as Thylacoleo. Anyway, thanks for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
This dude's such a gentleman. I've been pronouncing Thylac wrong my whole life, and I have no point in changing it whatsoever because I didn't know I was saying it wrong till 5 seconds ago anyways. I think this video is pretty perfect though, mostly because of this freaking, like, these images here. Like, the possibilities are absolutely haunting, dude. Like, the one on the top left is spooky. That thing grabs your leg, you know what I mean? You gotta start, like, hacking a piece off it with a freaking axe to get away from it. The one on the bottom left is straight out of Prometheus. That's that, like, river worm thing that goes down that guy's throat. Just haunting stuff. What if the elephant forced its trunk down our throat to kill us? Oh my god! I don't know what's worse, elephant trunk down the throat to kill us, or these teeth ones in, like, the top right getting a hold of you, because that's gonna rip your flesh off like crazy. We're literally just like water balloons of blood. Like, it's so easy to rip this crap off, so something like this could absolutely shred the crap out of you. I'd be very interested to see how this plays out, because I always see videos of, like, in India or other places where people are chasing elephants with, like, torches to get them off their farmland. I'd love to see if the elephants were carnivorous and, like, man-eaters, how that situation would go down a little differently. Like, the elephants are usually timid and afraid of fire and run away, but if it's food, if food's waving the fire, either way though, this video is awesome. Carnivorous, like, elephants, what a cool concept, what a cool video. Leave a like down below if you guys made it to the end of today's video, but most importantly, go show support to this awesome YouTuber. Like, go leave a like on his video if you have time. So leave a like, subscribe to Alien Evolution down below, and I'll see you next time.